Well, when I was approached, my first comment was no, I wasn't prepared to come out of retirement. But as I sat and thought about it and really looking at strategy for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, the Liberals will be the majority government until June of 2018. And I strongly believe, and I think history in this city has shown us, that it is so much better to have someone at the table with the decision makers than not at the table with the decision makers. And so I came out of retirement because I truly want to capitalize on the opportunities that this presents for our community over the next year.
The elephant in the room, I guess, is the hydro rates. I imagine you've been hearing a lot of that at the door. And from people.
I've been hearing about it at the door, but to be honest, it hasn't been the overwhelming conversation.
What has been?
Actually, the overwhelming conversation is people welcoming me back, is interestingly enough, and I've been a bit surprised by it. So certainly there have been the occasional comments about hydro. People seem to be more content that there is something being done now, and that they're seeing the 8% reduction and then up to 25% coming in June, and so that is certainly mitigating some of the angst, knowing that there's going to be some relief in sight. And I believe that this is all about Sault Ste. Marie and all about opportunity for Sault Ste. Marie in the next year. The other political stripes will not have access to that opportunity. So I really want to bring this back to Sault Ste. Marie and what's important, and my focus really is not on the provincial political landscape.
The support for the Liberals provincially has dropped quite a bit. Does that worry you at all?
Well, again, as I said, I decided to do this because I saw an opportunity for Sault Ste. Marie in the next year. The political landscape of the province is not going to change, and I believe we need to be at the table.
Now, you worked with David Orzetti, the former MPP. Have you spoken to him since you've announced you're running?
I've spoken to David once, and I think just the one time face to face. And David's in a different role now, and I think that he's certainly happy to have someone continue on with the great work that he did in this community, and I think he believes that I will do that. And so that was my conversation with Dave.
You issued a challenge to your rivals a couple days ago for a series of debates. Any takers yet?
I haven't talked to the team about it this morning. As of time leaving the office last night, no. There may have been something that came in after that, but at this point in time, to my knowledge, no.
So the Sioux is facing a very difficult period right now with SR and not paying the taxes. Premier Wynne has told us, told me anyway, that she's going to take a sit and wait approach to it. Right now, the city's facing a cash crunch. What can Debbie Amaroso, as MPP, do to help that situation?
Well, first and foremost, and if my information is correct, and I'm not quite sure because I heard late yesterday, that the judge has made some decisions, and I think the sit and wait needed to occur while this was still in the judge's hands. If it's not, then I think we need to be at the table and talk with the city council and our community leaders and find out where do they need us to step in, because none of us want to be having to assume that burden of those tax dollars. So I have not developed a strategy at this point in time, but certainly if it is in fact out of the judge's hands, then we really need to look at what we can do to be able to help this community in the time of need of not receiving those tax dollars. It's painful for everybody.
Do you think that's going to be a big point during this election?
I would think it is. I mean, people have already had a tax increase this year, and to have to assume additional burden, I mean, you and I both know in our history there are some people that are just hanging on by the skin of their teeth, and increase in their home tax doesn't serve anybody well.